Someone recently asked me, what would you do if you started falling behind, or when you start falling behind on a major project, or on a huge task that you're responsible for? And the first thing that came to mind, which is what I said, is I would just ask for help. And the person said, well, that's the right answer. I was like, well, good, because that's my answer. The reason that I respond that way is because I am all about prevention versus damage control. I've been taught that. That used to not always be the way that I operated. But I believe that in all organizations, if we can start thinking that way and start behaving that way, it can really help in so many areas. Preventing conflict rather than resolving conflict on the back end is so much easier. It's more cost effective, and it saves us so much time and energy. If you can do these three simple things to prevent conflict, even though you have to be mindful of it, so I would say it's simple, not easy, then you'll save yourself so much stress and energy and time, and sometimes cost in terms of retaining great employees and then hiring new employees on the back end. Same thing with communication. It's much easier and simpler and cost effective to communicate well on the front end, even though you kind of have to be coached sometimes, or teach yourself and work through those steps of communicating clearly, concisely, effectively on the front end, rather than deal with all the mess that results when there's miscommunication, lack of communication, unclear communication, a blow up in the whole organization because of communication problems, lack of transparency, all those communication blunders that can happen. So prevention rather than damage control, I believe, is always the way to go. You might see the same thing happen with branding. So rather than deal with a big branding problem at the end, like your organization's been running and going for 5 years, and then you realize all of a sudden we have like no social media presence, and all these other organizations have been out there promoting themselves for years. Now we have to play catch up. It's so much easier to do that on the front end when you're starting your business. So if you're an entrepreneur, go ahead and get started now rather than waiting until you've already been out there and you're behind on sales. Your business is about to just fold because you didn't think about those things on the front end. If you need help with prevention versus damage control in areas like that, you can reach out to me at BethanyWallaceCo.com.